students. Welcome to my video class in English. It's your Malek sir. We are going to discuss the basic concept of voice and the easiest way to change voice from active to passive. That means today our subject matter is voice. So here comes the first question. What is voice? Before the definition of voice, I'd like to show you some sentences here. You see some sentences here in two lists. What's the difference between two kinds of sentences? You see, in the first list, the subjects of the sentences perform action or verb. But in the second list, the subjects don't perform action. Simultaneously, the verb pattern has also been changed. Actually, it is the fact of changing voice. So, we can define voice this way. Voice is a special type of subject-verb agreement according to the involvement of subject in action. I am repeating it for you. Voice is a special type of subject-verb agreement according to the involvement of subject in action. Now, here comes the most important matter, that is change of voice, especially changing voice from active into passive. Let's watch the sentences again carefully. I think if you watch the sentences carefully, you can easily determine the main differences between two kinds of sentences. You see, here is a very important matter, that is changing voice consists of three changes in a sentence, and they are change of subject, verb and object. Actually, other words or phrases of sentences remain unchanged. So, today I am going to focus just on the change of subject, verb and object in the sentence. Here is an image for you. Please watch it carefully. You see, there are three things: subject, object and verb. You already observed that the subjects and objects are interchanged. That means subject takes the place of object and object takes the place of subject. And the next one, that is change of verb. Actually, in the passive voice, verb will be always in past participle form, and there must be a verb before that. For your better understanding, here is a short description of the image here. That means the basic formula of changing voice. You see, number one, subject and object of the sentence are interchanged. Number two, if the subject of active voice is used in objective case, in the passive, you should use a preposition, most often by before it. Number three, the verb will be in past participle form. And the next one, the most important one, that is adding an extra verb before verb 3. I hope all these matters are clear to you, but our students most often face problem while using verb in passive voice. You have to remember that actually the verb in the passive voice is usually placed according to the form of verb of the active voice. So I can suggest you the simplest way to use verb in passive voice. You see, here are two lists. The first one, verb of active voice, and the second one, verb of passive voice. If the verb is in present form, that means verb 1, you should use MER. That means the present form of verb, which I term as verb number 1. That means 1 for 1. Similarly, when the verb is in first form, you have to use was, or were. And if the verb is in past participle form, you should use been. And the last one, if there is ing verb, you should use being before verb 3. Here is also a very important note for you, that is, if there is any model as single auxiliary, we have to use directly be before verb 3. Okay, my dear students, let's have some practices. Here are some sentences of active voice. You see. I think you have already changed the sentences into passive. Now it's time to examine whether the formula has been applied properly. You see, actually the matters happen like that. That means subject and object of the sentences are interchanged. There is a preposition before the objective case of subject of the active voice. The verb is certainly in past participle form, and there is a be verb or extra be verb before verb 3, and other parts of the sentences are unchanged. Here I like to remind you that actually it is the very basic formula of changing voice. There might be some exceptions of or some complex or critical matters. So we will discuss it in my next class. Okay, it's all for today. Hope you have enjoyed the class and you have got a clear concept of voice and the easiest way of changing voice. Okay, my dear students, keep well. Allah Hafiz.